The clicking of keyboards and the rapid-fire tapping of controllers filled the dimly lit computer shop. The glow of monitors reflected in the wide-eyed intensity of 6 college students, each lost in the heat of their game. The room smelled of cheap instant noodles, energy drinks, and the faint musk of overused chairs, but to them this was paradise.
Mateo, cover me.
Zixuan's voice rang out, sharp with urgency as her in-game character sprinted through an abandoned battlefield.
I'm trying,
Mateo shot back, fumbling with his mouse.
but someone keeps stealing my kills.
That's called teamwork.
Daniela teased, grinning as she racked up another headshot.
You mean kill stealing? Someone take her out already.
Harith groaned, throwing his head back dramatically.
Not a chance.
Daniela smirked. Beside her, Paige was quieter, her fingers moving at lightning speed on the keyboard, focused on strategy rather than banter. Sicilian, on the other hand, leaned back in his chair, one hand lazily resting on his controller. He played effortlessly, as if the game was second nature to him.
One enemy left.
Where?
Northwest building, 3rd floor, behind the crates.
Without hesitation, Zixuan adjusted her aim, fired, and the screen flashed victory. A chorus of cheers erupted from the group.
All right, admit it.
Zixuan smirked, pushing her chair back.
We make an unbeatable team.
No argument there.
Paige agreed, stretching.
But next time, let's play something that doesn't end with me sweating like I ran a marathon.
You always say that and then refuse to lose.
He's about to nudge Paige's elbow to tease, but Paige had already walked away before he could. She rolled her eyes, but a small smile tugged at her lips. It was like this every week, meeting after class at their favorite computer shop, laughing, teasing, and battling in virtual worlds like their lives depended on it. They weren't just a team in the game, they were a team in real life. Outside, the sun had long since set, casting the streets in neon reflections from passing cars. The city buzzed with life, but inside the shop, time had stood still, their little world untouched by reality.
I'm around.
Zixuan checked the time.
It's late, we should head back before we miss the last bus.
The group groaned but agreed, gathering their things. The streets outside were as alive as ever, despite it being past 10 p.m. The distant sound of car horns mixed with laughter from bars and street-side karaoke stalls. Groups of drunken men sat on plastic chairs, raising their beers while slurring out lyrics to old songs. The city never truly slept, it only shifted moods.
This song again.
Paige scoffed as they passed by a small store with a loudspeaker, blaring an off-key rendition of a popular ballad.
Classic.
Harith said, pretending to wipe a tear.
Who broke that guy's heart?
Probably himself.
Daniela quipped, making everyone burst into laughter. The 6 of them walked together, their conversation flowing effortlessly, until they finally reached the bus stop. A single dim streetlight buzzed overhead, casting their shadows long against the pavement. The bus arrived with a tired screech, the doors creaking open. The inside was mostly empty, save for a few late-night commuters sitting silently, lost in their own worlds. As they took their seats, Zixuan found herself doing what she always did, reading the signs along the road. Storefronts, advertisements, billboards, street names. She absorbed them all, mapping the city in her head like an instinct. It was why her friends always relied on her when they got lost.
Memorize this entire city like a game map.
Mateo had once joked. And he wasn't wrong. One by one, her friends began to get off at their stops, waving goodbye as they disappeared into the night. Paige left first, then Daniela and Harith. Mateo was next, leaving just 2 passengers from their group, Zixuan and Sicilian. It was always like this. Sicilian sat across from her, his tall figure leaning slightly against the window, staring at the passing streets. His face was as blank as ever, pale under the flickering bus lights. He wasn't much of a talker. But he wasn't a nerd either, not the stereotypical kind at least. He was smart, rich, and stupidly good-looking. Tall, fair-skinned, sharp-eyed. If he weren't so quiet, he'd probably be the most popular guy in their class. Zixuan glanced at him, then back outside. They had done this countless times, sat in the same bus at the same time in the same silence. It wasn't awkward, just how things were. The bus turned a corner, and something felt off. Zixuan sat up straighter, frowning as she looked at the familiar buildings passing by. Sicilian's stop was coming up. And then it passed. Her eyes widened.
Oh, you missed your stop.
She gasped, immediately turning to him. Sicilian didn't react.
So?
She called, slightly louder. He blinked once, finally looking at her. His expression was unreadable like again, and as always.
It's okay, I'll walk you home.
Zixuan stared at him, caught off guard. He didn't even glance away from the window as he spoke, as if he had already made up his mind before she even noticed. She wanted to protest, tell him he didn't need to, but the words didn't come out. Instead, she just nodded, feeling strangely shy. The bus ride felt longer after that, but soon they reached her stop. As she stepped out, Sicilian followed, hands in his pockets, his posture relaxed. For the first time, Zixuan truly felt like Sicilian was a friend. They walked in silence, yet it wasn't uncomfortable. His quiet presence felt different now, less distant, more familiar. She had never really thought about it before, but maybe Sicilian wasn't just a classmate or a teammate in their games. Maybe he was something more. But if she had to be honest, she had already had a feeling before. She just wasn't the type to think about romantic scenarios, as she needed to focus on her studies first before entertaining any romantic desires. As they approached her house, the night sky rumbled. A second later, heavy raindrops began pounding against the pavement. Within moments, it became a downpour. The streetlights flickered under the relentless assault of water, and the world blurred in the downpour's intensity. Zixuan barely had time to rush under the awning of her front gate before she was drenched. She turned to see Sicilian still standing a few feet away, letting the rain soak him without any urgency to move.
What are you doing? Get in here.
It's fine, I'll head back once it slows down.
We'll drown before that happens. Come inside, you can't go home like this.
Sicilian didn't argue. Maybe he knew she wouldn't let him refuse. The moment they stepped inside, the warmth of the house contrasted sharply with the cold rain. The lights cast a soft glow over the polished floors, and the faint scent of freshly brewed tea lingered in the air. Their two housemaids, Auntie Lin and Zio Mei, were the only ones home. They both looked up from the dining table, where they were chatting over tea, surprised to see Zixuan bringing someone in.
Xuan, you brought a guest. It started pouring the second we got here. He'll stay until it stops.
I'll get towels.
Sicilian remained by the entrance, droplets of rain dripping from his hair onto the marble floor. His uniform clung uncomfortably to his frame, but he didn't look too bothered by it. He simply glanced around the house. Curious, perhaps.
Dry yourself before you flood the place.
He caught it easily and began patting his hair dry, though his damp clothes remained a problem.
Do you want to change? I can lend you some of my brother's old clothes.
It's fine, I'll be leaving soon.
You say that, but the rain's getting worse. Come on, Wei left a bunch of clothes when he moved out. They'll probably fit you.
All right.
Zixuan led him upstairs to her brother's old room. It was mostly empty now, just a neatly made bed, a closet, and a desk left behind in case he ever visited. She dug through the drawers and pulled out a simple gray hoodie and a pair of sweatpants.
These should do. Bathrooms across the hall.
Thanks.
Zixuan left him to change and returned downstairs, where Auntie Lin and Zio Mei were still watching her with amused expressions.
What?
Nothing. It's just rare for you to bring a boy home.
It's not like that. He's just a friend.
Mom.
A few minutes later, Sicilian returned, now dressed in Wei's clothes. The hoodie was slightly loose on him, but he somehow made even the simplest outfit look effortlessly good. His damp black hair hung over his forehead, and his usual sharp presence felt softer.
Do you want something hot to drink?
I'm fine, thank you.
He glanced at Zixuan, who was sipping her tea quietly, pretending not to notice the way her maids kept sneaking glances at them.
It's late, might as well stay the night. The rain doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon.
Sicilian didn't protest. Maybe he was too tired to, or probably ran out of words, and just like that he stayed. Zixuan never thought much about it before, but that night, as she lay in bed listening to the rain, knowing Sicilian was just across the hall in Wei's old room, something felt different. End of Chapter 1.